All right, I think we're live. Yes, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining Performance Seminar. This is our seminar for Wednesday, the 19th of February. It's our 6 p.m. session. And we have two guests. Ms. Bella, if you want to introduce yourself and your piece, welcome.
I'm Bella, and I'll be playing The Swan by Camille Saint-Saëns.
That's solid. Solid first draft, yeah?
Yeah.
How was that?
I think it's mainly like the middle section where the left hand is kind of a little bit more complicated. Not that it's difficult, but it's a little
Hmm.
bit more tricky with
A little bit more awkward, right? With the movement,
yeah.
right?
And like my hand position it feels awkward, so I'm still trying to like get used to it.
Hmm.
But for first draft, I'm pretty okay with it.
Dr. Lucy, can I knock on your door for a second? So Dr. Lucy, she's played a ton of piano music and accompanied and collaborated with a lot of artists. When you have sections like this in your music, how do you tackle it? Do you remember the last time that you had tricky left hand passages? What would
Oh,
you what? Yeah, 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 yeah. just when we first learning, because like clearly one of the challenges for Bella is just trying to get some of this left hand on. Like off the top of my head, I'm just thinking about fingering, but is there
Yeah.
anything else that how would you tackle so that she can feel more comfortable?
I think I would work out with fingering, especially in the middle. I feel like Bella was kind of hesitating between the measures where there's a leap in the left hand. So I think I would figure out the best fingering in order for me to get from the last note of the previous measure into the first note of the next measure.
Yeah.
And I would also probably prepare my fingers in a position that will allow me to anticipate the leap as well. And also because the left hand pattern, I feel like it fits within a chord. So I would probably play the arpeggios as a chord. So I have an idea of what chord it is in my head. Maybe that
Yeah.
will make it easier.
And another thing, yeah, I like that. Because another thing you could do as well, as Dr. Lisa was talking, some of them are quite stretchy. Look at this. This is massive.
Yeah.
So what you could do is you could just play the B, D, and the F. And then you play the first note. Right? Or all the notes that are underneath one hand position. Just it's a lot of block practice, I think. That's another thing you can do as well. But yeah, I agree with her that I think it's important that we find the note, the last note of whatever measure, and then the fingering in the note for the next. So we want to train that movement right ahead of time.
Yeah.
To anticipate. Do you have any other ideas of how you want to tackle that, other from what we've offered, or does that sound like something that you can try?
Yeah, I'll definitely work on the piece doing like blocking out chords. And like I've only had this piece for like 2 weeks ish,
Right.
so not that much time on it. Also with like a whole bunch of school stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I've been trying to break it down line by line, which helps, and just loop practicing it, just getting used to the finger patterns, especially in the left hand. I think that's been helping as well. But yeah, I'll do the blocking of chords when I practice it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, try it. Another thing you could do is just play the first note in the left hand, and then the other notes in the right hand. Left, right. So that does two things. First of all, you can shape it the way that you want, right? But also it trains your ear to hear the harmonies. Or if you want, you can do it up and up there. Because that also helps as well, especially if you're striking wrong notes to get the correct combination of notes. But mainly, I do that so that I can hear the kind of shape I want to create in the music, especially when it's big leaps like that, right? So give them a little go, yeah. At this point, that's really the only thing that needs to be worked on, because once you feel more comfortable with the left hand, the right hand phrasing will follow,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or you'll be so masterful at the left hand, then you can do whatever the right hand needs in terms of phrasing.
Yeah.
Cool. Come and see us in another week.
Yeah, I will.
2 weeks. Nice. Thanks. Hello. Okay, we continue. Ishan, you made it. What's going on?
Hi.
Hey, what's up? Okay, hold on. Let's go ahead and just get you in here as well. Is it in the files? All right, Ishan. Can you make sure that you've got your original sound on?
Yeah.
Good to go. All right, so when you're ready, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and the name of your piece and who wrote it?
Hello, my name is Yushan, and today I'm going to be presenting 100 Degree Blues by Anne Faber.
Wow, professional, eh?
Thank
Yeah, you know it too. I was like, yeah, that was really good.
you.
Is that the first time you played this in class? In
No,
performance? No? What is this? Is this the second time you're playing it in performance seminar?
the third or fourth.
Get out. That's why it's so good. So what does that tell you, Ishan? The more often that you play a piece of music or you perform it, what happens to it?
It becomes better.
Yeah, it should, right? Otherwise, there's
Yeah.
something wrong. Good, good. Okay, then. So you know this piece better than anyone else in this room. Why don't you tell us how this has improved from the last performance? What's changed?
Oh, I thought you meant in class time.
Yeah, no. In performance seminar, in like one of these performance seminars.
No, I only played it one time in performance seminar, but I've done
Oh,
it like 3 or 4 times in class.
in class. Okay, cool. So in that case, then you still have performed this once in performance seminar before today, right?
No,
No. Oh, this is actually the premiere. Okay, great. All right.
yeah.
So then, why don't you compare this to the way that you played in class then? So how is this performance compared to how you played in Kaizen?
So I added lots of dynamics
Mm-hmm.
than before.
Good, good, excellent. Did they come out the way that you had planned?
Yeah,
Yeah? Do you feel that you could have still done more? Or was that just the right amount of dynamics for you?
maybe more.
Yeah? Okay, cool. I felt one of the things that I really enjoyed about your playing is that you had a really steady tempo from the beginning to the end, right? I thought
Yeah,
you handled that really well. I thought you also handled well these jumps, jumping from these chords up to the ya da dun, and your hand navigated, or you were able to find these notes pretty quickly, right? It's not the easiest going from these white notes, jumping up to a black note, right? How do you feel playing all of these here? Does your hand feel pretty comfortable?
yeah.
Yeah? Okay, cool. Excellent. And one other thing, in terms of moving now forward, right? Scaling up and improving, what are some things that you want to improve for next time when you play this?
Next time, maybe trying to add more dynamics and keep up on the rhythm.
Yeah, you know what? So definitely add more dynamics. What are your thoughts of playing this quicker?
What do you say?
What are your thoughts on playing this at a faster tempo? Would that be something you'd be interested in?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right, especially us boys, right? You gotta try it. You gotta try. So this is my challenge to you, right? I thought that your notes were fine, the dynamics were there, it was well in control. I'm just curious now. I'm just gonna offer you a new challenge. Figure out the tempo that you're currently playing it at, and then put it up by a notch or two. I think you'll be able to do it, right? I think you'll be able to do it. When you play some of these things, and there's a lot of little details here too, right? When you play these notes here that have the accent, right? Really drop into the key, drop the hand into the key, right? So that we can really hear that accent. Another thing here, when you play these here, instead of just keeping the hand still, da dee dun dun, what would happen if you created a little circle? Da dee da dun. Have a listen to these two. This is the first one. Hand stays still. And what's the difference in the sound?
it's going louder than softer.
Right. So what's creating the dynamic and the shape? Is it the fingers or the hand movement?
It's the hand.
Right. So you can experiment with that as well, yeah? Anytime that you see a slur over a note, you can just assume, interesting. Maybe I'll try and do a little bit of a wrist smile, wrist circle of the notes, right? To make it sound a little bit more, give it a little bit more direction. Anything else? Yeah, no, I thought you did really well. Listen back to this recording, and then question your dynamics, question the way that you phrase, and listen out to see if you're actually bringing out all these little details like these accents. It's forte, but there are also accents there. Yeah?
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Mhm.
All right, nice work, Ishan. All right, we will move to our last performer, that is Miss Michaela. Michaela, are you still with us?
Yes.
All right, go ahead and introduce yourself in the piece that you're going to play.
My name is Michaela, and I'll be playing Winter's Splendor, but it's only going to be the first page by Martha Meyer.
Well done, Michaela. There's a good first draft as well. Bella, you have some thoughts here for Michaela?
Yeah, I thought
Pop
overall was pretty good. Rhythms and notes are solid. Tempo was really consistent, which is good. I would probably just work on like the last half of the page, just really section that out. And then I don't really think she needs to work hands separately, but definitely some loop practice would help with getting used to the transitions and all that in the second half of the first page.
I agree as well. Michaela, do you agree with some of what Anna said or anything that she said?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that performance, Michaela? What are some things that was revealed to you when you play this? You're like, this is what's working, this is what's not working.
I think I just got like really nervous for some reason, and I played it like better than I thought it would be, but I think it still needs improvement.
Well, that's a plus then, huh? That you played it better than what you thought.
Yeah.
Good, there's progress, right? That's really good. Dr. Lucy, what popped out to you?
I think that was a great job. I totally understand how you said you were feeling nervous about it, because this piece is quite tricky, I think, with all the different hand positions required and all the leaps in different directions. So if I were performing this piece, I would be equally nervous and probably freaking out for some of the leaps. But I think I would probably focus on like the second page where it gets a little bit more difficult. Oh, sorry. Actually, measure 7, that line between measure 9 and 10, for example, because measure 9 have that pattern in the scale going down, and then suddenly in measure 10 you have to prepare for that chord. So I would probably practice from the middle of measure 9 going down the scale and just practice falling onto that first chord in the right hand and measure 10, just to get that solid. So I know where I'm going, starting from measure 10, so I don't get lost. And then maybe isolate the chords in the right hand of measure 10 first. So I know how to prepare each hand position for each of the chords. And also work on the left hand separately, because the left hand has also a lot of big leaves, arpeggios as well.
It's a lot of moving parts, right, Michaela? Yeah, I agree with Dr. Lucy as well. Something to keep in mind is it's always just looking ahead when the hand position has to change or it does something different. So I like her idea of bringing down the scale. And do pause, Michaela. Pause on that E. Assume the position and then figure out what the hand needs to do to spread out, right? Da 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 da, 3. And then you can twist the hand slightly, land in a 1, 2, 4. Right? And then, like Miss Bella was saying, just loop it. Do it 2, 3 times. Right? Do it slowly, do it loud, do it with your eyes closed. Do it many different ways until your hand knows, oh, this is what's going to happen. It just does it automatically. Yeah? And then another thing that you could do with these chords here is you play the chord and then jump as quickly as you can to the next chord. Just see what happens. Sometimes actually, instead of practicing slowly but quickly, your hand will surprise you as to how well it knows the geography, where it has to go. If it doesn't, that's okay. Maybe just do the top notes. All right? And then you add the note underneath that. And the note underneath that. So you just continue stacking it up. But I would start there. And then the last thing that I would focus on, actually probably the first thing you want to look at, is the rhythm. Sometimes when you played some of these here, the 16th notes, or these 8th notes here, it wasn't quite in line. I don't know if that was to do with nerves or perhaps you haven't worked really on the subdividing. But for now, I would put your metronome on at a comfortable speed, but make it 8th notes, right? So when you're playing this here from measure 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. All right? Does that make sense, Michaela?
Yeah.
Right. So it was really just here in this first part. Later on, I think the rhythm was a little bit more solid, but I would subdivide the 8th notes so that you can easily line up, especially these 16th notes over here. Yeah. Ishan, did you have any thoughts for Michaela on her performance? Some things that you enjoyed or things you can work on?
Maybe next time she could try adding more dynamics.
Gotta love the dynamics. I think so too. Yeah. And the thing with dynamics is that we need to hear them first. You gotta hear it in here, then you can produce it here. Otherwise, we're just kind of stabbing in the dark. Yeah. So just bear that in mind as well, Michaela, as you continue progressing with your piece. Just hear in your head how quietly you want this opening. And then when the mezzo forte is here, how much louder it is than the MP. Yeah? Excellent. Well, Bella, Michaela, and Ishan, you guys have been wonderful. Thanks for stopping on by. Do watch this video. Like I always say to everybody, your best teacher are your own ears. We can tell you all sorts of stuff, but at the end of the day, you guys are in control. All right? So watch the video back, and then you can make some notes as to the things that you were really happy with that went well, but also areas that you can strengthen for next time, okay? All right, have a great evening. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Welcome. There you go.